everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to After the Weekend, the show where we watch movies during the weekend and then we comment them.
After the weekend.
Right. I hope everybody's been having a wonderful Monday. Hey, Duna Dan, Mrs. R2, and Tabitha, thank you for coming on tonight.
Avery
here
Cruz
too.
as well.
What's up, Avery? And I don't know about you guys. Go ahead.
Everybody's having a better Monday than me because this evening I am getting hit with allergies, which is why I don't have my camera on. In case I need to sneeze or something, I can at least turn off the mic and don't have to
sneeze to your content.
Subject you guys all to that sight. So,
well, we have little Spider-Man there, so that's
yes,
cool.
we do. Hello, Sam. Thank you for being here.
Great to see you here. It is Tuesday where you are now, and in Kerala, right? Kerala, did I say that right? Little Spider-Man says
Santa's
hi.
in the future.
Yeah.
Hello, buddy. How are you?
So, little Spider-Man, thank you so much for coming on. I love to have you here. I'm talking to the photo, by the way. So, so yeah, that's awesome. And well, yeah. So tonight we have a very, very special movie that is in the hearts of everybody. Well, except mine, because I didn't know about it, and in fact, I've never even heard of it, and watched it. And I recently watched it like on Thursday. So, Naaman's! Ho-ho! So awesome that you made
Hello,
it.
JT. Thank you for being here.
And Gunter's also here.
Yes. This was, for me, a childhood staple. Same thing with my wife. She watched this as a kid. And, yeah, I love this movie. So excited to review it. Just wish I was feeling better during it. But, yeah, this is so much fun. I love this movie.
Well, Dreaming Tabitha, you're making me feel better. She said she'd never seen it before, but she had heard of it. Okay, fair enough.
Oh, you have to watch it, Tabitha. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good movie. You're gonna laugh. It's a good movie. It's so. I was just saying to R2, it's like it's so American. It's really American. So, but Tabitha, we're gonna be going into spoilers. So if you don't care about spoilers, we'll just go into it.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So everybody who has not watched Big Trouble in Little China, beware, because we are now going into the spoiler, which is basically the whole thing of our show. We like to spoil movies for you so you guys can watch it. So.
Oh, yes.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Big Trouble in Little China. The big thing here is Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell, right?
Kurt Russell.
Because I'm getting
Kurt
confused
Russell.
with Russell Crowe. Yeah.
But
I'm getting confused
technically,
with Russell Crowe.
Kurt Russell is actually the sidekick of this movie.
Yes, but even though that he's the sidekick, he's the main character, which is brilliant.
Well, he is the sidekick. His friend truly is the hero of the movie. But it's very much though. We're kind of looking at this through Kurt Russell's eyes because he's entered a world that he is not familiar with, but everybody else around him either is or they have some sort of knowledge of what's going on to an extent.
So, well, since this is the first time I was watching it and I didn't enjoy it when I was a kid, which does mark something. Like you have these movies that are endearing because you grew up with them. In this case, I had never seen it. I have never even heard of it, and now I got to see it as an adult. So, like, the overall plot was, it was just great. It was funny, you know. It was just, classic comedy. Um, and this is a Kurt Russell that I am not familiar with. So, um, Gato,
Yeah,
hey,
this
what's
was
up, Gato? Sorry.
well. I was going to say this was kind of his second kind of comedy that he did. He also a couple years prior did Used Cars, which was another comedy. But this was, if you kind of think about it, based on the year. I mean, this was
Mm,
one of the first like comedic action movies.
mm,
There
mm,
were a few others before it, but you didn't really start seeing that quite yet.
mm,
And he is really good at humor.
mhm,
I would almost, it's funny because he played this person's father, but in a way, Kurt Russell kind of is like Chris Pratt, um,
mm,
in that kind of being like a comedic action, person,
mhm,
star. If you think
mhm,
of the action movies Chris Pratt's in, he's always real kind of got like
mhm,
a quirky wit to him, and Kurt Russell has that too here,
mhm.
and I love it. I love him in
So
this movie.
basically, he's in the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean, that's the
Exactly.
main plot. He's in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he gets mixed up in all these. You could say, you know,
Well, he's a truck
gang
driver,
fights. Yeah, yeah, he's a truck
and
driver.
on a stop to Chinatown,
Hmm.
he's taking a break, and he meets up with an old friend of his, and they spend an evening gambling.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I had read what the game that they were playing is. I can't remember. I didn't write it down. I should have. But uh, it- during the evening, he like takes everybody's money. He's got like the
Mm-hmm.
best luck, and
Mm-hmm.
his buddy needs money because his
Mm-hmm.
childhood sweetheart is coming to the U.S. from China, and he's
Mm-hmm.
gonna pick her up, marry her, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so he ends up owing Kurt Russell, whose name is Jack Burton in this film,
Mm-hmm.
quite a bit of money. But
Mm-hmm.
before he can get the
Mm-hmm.
money, they got to go to the airport to pick up his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, that's kind of the uh, avalanche that
Mm-hmm.
occurs where he is then, kind of thrown into this uh, world of Chinatown and the
Mm-hmm.
myths and the legends around it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and I highlighted Dunadan's comment, and just very very quickly, hey TDS, thank you so much for coming. You
Thank
come on
you.
mine, I go on yours. Last night I was on TDS's Twitch stream just for a little while, just hanging out, and we had a very very interesting chat with the people in the chat about cats. So thank you so much for coming, TDS. So Dunadan says Jack Burton is way over his head in this film, and you know what? That's the whole main point. I mean, he's in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the first thing that I thought when he was riding in his truck, there's this big truck driver, and I was thinking, yeah, this is such a guy's movie, and it's funny because like he's like stereotyping the like the truck driver, like I was born ready, but he grabs his radio, and he's just talking there, and he's like, whoever's listening out there, and he starts giving all this advice. And my first thought was like, wow, this is like the beginning of podcasts, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's funny though. He's driving on a back road in the Bay Area.
uh-huh.
He's in the North Bay. You can tell from the direction he's going of how it's filmed because that's a year ago. That's where I used to live in the Bay Area. But I don't know how many people are listening if he was on a back road because CB radios only have about a 6 mile radius, so you got to
Yeah.
be somewhat close.
Yeah.
Oh, look who's here inside the booth.
Yeah, inside the booth. Shout out to them. I do have their beautiful hoodie on. By the way, you can get their merch. I will be linking it in the description somewhere at some point. And you can get, yeah, just wonderful stuff. Get a mug. I don't know if they have stickers, but yeah, exactly. I mean, yes, but still, like the concept of like podcasting was there. He's like, and he's just
Sure.
randomly saying, yeah, I'm wearing your face, streaming Tabitha. I love your face. So you're such a wonderful person. I can't keep you. I have to keep you very, very close to my heart, literally. So so yeah, and like he's just this like stereo macho man, you know, and
Yeah.
God knows how many wives he had because he says that his ex-wife, and he was just talking about that, you know, and I was just laughing. I'm like, oh yeah, I mean sometimes that's what podcasts do, you know, they just talk and they just say what they want to say, you know, on their lines or on their streams or whatever. But yeah.
Well, another unique thing about this movie too is, and they intentionally wrote it this way, as opposed to kind of a one. It was actually originally intended to be a western, but kind of the, white hero tale where it
Yeah.
goes somewhere exotic and has a local as a sidekick. He's
Hmm.
actually, again, he's the sidekick of this, where his friend's really the hero, and
Hmm.
not only too, he's throughout the film. I mean, he's tries to be macho and everything, but he's kind
Hmm.
of a little bumbling and incompetent,
Hmm. Yeah.
with some aspects of things. There's a scene where he fires a gun into the air and
Hmm.
he breaks some concrete and it knocks him out in the head.
Yes. That's way at like practically at the end of the movie, you know,
Yeah,
the
that's
final
towards the
battle.
end. But
So,
there's another fight where him and his buddy are gonna face off against
uh-huh.
like six guys, and he takes he spends all this time trying to get his knife out of his boot, and the
Yeah.
whole time his friend's fighting everybody. And by the time he jumps out ready to go and fight, his friend has taken on everybody and knocked everyone out too. So,
Yeah.
uh,
So another thing that popped into my mind while I was watching this film was I am a big, huge fan of C dramas personally. Not so much K dramas, but C dramas, and they do have a lot of martial arts. I myself am a lover of martial arts. I have seen several films, and I remember like not only Hollywood but Chinese movies, like one with Jackie Chan when he was really really young, and the Five Style Fist, and yeah, I was like, wow, this choreography and the guy, you know, the actor who's doing the friend, you know, the Chinese friend, is like, wow, this is really good. I really enjoyed like the fight choreography, like the kung fu parts. So this movie was weird but fun. This movie was weird. This is what Dan says. This movie was weird but good, funny. Kurt Russell is a good actor. Yeah, he is. And like you said, he was like he's way over his head, and he wants to cope with everything and say, you know what, you know, I am, you know, I'm your
but
guy. I'm your guy.
at first, when you said sea drama, I thought, are you talking about stuff that takes place on a boat?
Oh no,
I
C
was,
dramas is
I don't know.
insane.
Yeah, I When you said K-drama, I was like, oh, okay, I get
Yeah.
that. That threw me for a loop for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. It's a really good, not only action movie but martial arts film too.
Yeah. I was
And
really surprised with that, and
there's
gratefully surprised.
a fair amount of well-known either martial arts stuntmen and kind of regular bad guys that appeared through a lot of movies in the 80s and 90s in this. Two that play background characters. So,
Yeah. I mean, there was. I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say. Well, no, I'll let you finish, and then I'll throw in what I was gonna say.
Oops. Sorry. But yeah, the thing is that you get the feel that it's definitely Hollywood, because Chinese movies, they have a different style, they have a different feel in the movies, but this one, the choreography, and I think your missus probably knows more than I do. It was just great. It was smooth, it was nice. It was funny. Had your touch of humor in those senses, but I think they did justice in the martial arts area, like in the whole movie.
Well, this was directed by John Carpenter, who
Mm.
he's never done a martial arts film before this or since this too, and really felt like he did a good job with it.
Yeah. So the plot is fairly simple. A guy, a truck driver, who thinks he's a macho man, lands in the wrong place, wrong time, and helps his buddy. And at the same time, he thinks he's like a womanizer, because he has this stereotype of, the truck driver is like the macho man. So it was funny how like, and as a woman, I can tell you, I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's trying to get to me. Oh man, I would probably say the same thing as the blonde. And I never forget her. I never remember her name.
So yeah, kind of his love interest in the film, Kim Cattrall.
Yeah.
He actually sees her for the first time at the airport and goes to hit on her, and she completely rejects him and makes a comment about the fact that he smells.
Yes.
Says it smells like Miller time from downwind.
Oh God, that's so insanely gross. But and then, well, one thing that I didn't like about it, you could say, is the girlfriend, like the fiance.
Miao Yin.
Yeah, Miao Yin. It was like, what? She's probably not even Asian. Not that you have to be Asian, but at least look a little bit more Asian. I mean, this girl had beautiful, big eyes, and well, I don't know, unless you actually, was born to American parents, but you were raised in China. Well, fine. But I was when I looked at her, I'm like, huh? Well, I mean, okay, fair enough.
Well, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure she is Asian. I looked up who she was because I've never seen her in anything beyond this film, and I want to say she was a French model, so I'm assuming she's actually Vietnamese. But Susie Pai.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Was her name? Yeah, and really didn't do much beyond this film, and the fact that I looked up that she was a model. Doesn't surprise me based on really kind of what she did with the role.
Yeah, well, obviously. Yeah, I mean, she didn't do much. I mean, she just basically kind of screamed and was kidnapped all the time,
And catatonic for part of the film. Catatonic and floating.
So, well, here's my mother. As always, one film I really liked with Kurt Russell is Backdraft. Very, very nice film. I recommend it. Haven't seen that one. But
Yeah,
we're
it's a good
now
movie.
talking about Big Trouble in Little China. So, but yeah, I mean, like the overall story, like the plot per se was, just simple, and it's nice to have these simple stories that you can just laugh about. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was great. And well, let's see, characters. I mean, Kurt Russell. I think he was spot on casted. I couldn't imagine somebody else um, in that role of a macho man.
So there actually were a few other people in
Uh huh.
contention, or at least the
Okay.
studio. This was the last studio film that John Carpenter did.
Mm.
But the studio was originally interested in Jack Nicholson or Clint Eastwood, and I don't think I could have seen
No.
Jack Nicholson in this at all.
No.
Potentially Clint Eastwood during the time. I mean, I still love Kurt Russell, but if you didn't have Kurt Russell in this film, you know, I could potentially see him playing that in the era, but I still would much rather have had Kurt Russell, and then even Jeff Bridges because he did Starman with John Carpenter 2 years prior.
Okay. Okay. I can live with that. Jeff Bridges, yes, but
But
Clint
see, Jeff
Eastwood.
Bridges, I don't think I could have seen, at least at this time, being the as comedic as Kurt Russell was.
I don't.
That charm,
Yeah. Hmm.
or
You
at least
see.
that the charm that he thought that he had, but maybe not really that was there.
Mm. Yeah, because he was like, I'm feeling sort of invincible now. That was brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll have to
The
get to that
magic.
in a little bit, but yeah,
Yeah.
the elevator
the-
scene, yeah,
Yeah.
was
So,
good.
well, let me see. Jack Nicholson, even I have to disagree. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to see him in that position, even though Dan says Jack that would have worked. He's more cynical. I see Jack
Yeah,
Nicholson as more cynical than Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell is more like an innocent macho, whereas Jack Nicholson has this like evilness in him that I just don't see him in that spot. For example, when Jack Nicholson did with Helen Hunt,
as
Better
good
and
as it
Possible,
gets.
as good as it gets, exactly as good as it gets. That's the kind of comedy that Nicholson is brilliant at. Not this one. This one is more. It's more goofy. I don't see Jack Nicholson as goofy. No.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood, likewise. I wouldn't have been
Well,
able
I
to
see
see
him being a
goofiness.
truck driver, and I think kind of the macho-ness of the character he could have done,
Mhm.
but Clint Eastwood can be funny, but he's extremely dry. It would have been a different kind of
Mhm. Mhm.
feeling of the film.
Mhm. Mhm. And
So
well, we have Bill Murray. No, I
uh,
wouldn't have been able to see Bill Murray either in this one.
yeah,
I
I wouldn't
think.
either. But it's funny that you mention that because
Mm,
I do feel like some of the dialogue from Kurt Russell in this
mm.
film is on par with Bill Murray from Ghostbusters, with just some of the cracks and comments that he makes that
Yeah.
goes on around him.
The thing is that
I love him.
Bill Murray's comedy is like an intelligent sarcasm, whereas Kurt Russell's sarcasm and goofiness, it's just a dumb man. I mean, he's literally
Yeah,
out of his mind. He doesn't know what's going on, and he's barely able to grasp anything, and he still thinks he can cope with everything. You know. So that's the thing, you know. Bill Murray is an intelligent sarcasm. He knows what's going on, and he laughs about it. That's the thing. That's what's brilliant about Bill Murray.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jack was funny in Going South.
And this was one of the 5 films that Kurt Russell has made with John Carpenter too.
No, he Carpenter smack dabbed on Kurt Russell. He was made for this role, definitely. So
Yep.
And let's see, and the Chinese, the friend, I don't know what's his name. I've seen him in other movies.
Dennis Dunn, who played Wang Chi.
Yes. Now Wang, I've seen him in another film. I just don't remember where.
He did another John Carpenter film, I think, before this or after, but he hasn't done a ton. But I want to say he was in a couple other late '80s, early '90s films.
Okay. Oh gosh. Please, more respect. You know, we're talking about one of my sweethearts back in the day. More respect, please. Who? Bill Murray,
Kurt Russell,
Clint Eastwood, Kurt Russell, or Jack Nicholson? Because we've talked about all of them. And Ray-Ron, hey! He sends wing hugs to everybody.
Hey, Ray-Ron, how are you?
Thank you so much for coming. And Kurt Russell. All right. Well, I can imagine he was a heartbreaker for many people, for many women. I mean, he was already very built for that part. When he did Big Trouble in Little China, I mean, he was like muscular, you know, very, very muscular. But I mean, we're not disrespecting anything. We're actually saying that he was perfect in the part. He was just goofy and dumb.
Yeah.
So.
Agreed.
So the Wang Chi. I just feel like I've seen him in another movie. I just can't remember where. And he is a great martial artist. Such amazing choreography.
Actually did martial arts as a kid, but not really as an adult. And that was one of the things that he was excited about this film, was that he was going to be able to do that again. But yeah, I mean, he looked really good with a lot of the stuff that he did.
So no, it was amazing. And you can notice when a person does martial arts when he's young, as opposed to when he or she, learns it afterwards. So that was really great. And who was the guy?
James.
Sorry.
Are you gonna say David Lopan, who played him?
Yeah, Lopan. Yeah, that's it.
That was James Hong, who was terrific in that role.
Yeah, he was so good.
And he's done a lot of stuff, a lot of all sorts of roles, and I think even today still does some acting. I love James Hong. He was great. And even too in the different variations of the character when he was actually, Lo Pan and all dressed up. And then when he was the old man, David Lo Pan too, he was, funny and creepy at the same time.
He got creepy. Yeah, I did. I was like, oh wow, this is like such good makeup,
Oh yeah. That the makeup they did for him, was great. And a couple little fun facts about the character of Lo Pan. Lo Pan is the inspiration of Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat, the video game.
Right.
In fact, the music of this film also inspired the music of that game, and quite a bit of Stranger Things too. The music from that.
Oh, that's good.
So if anybody here has watched it, also in the early '90s, the character of the Mandarin from Iron Man, his design was very heavily done after Lo Pan too.
Right.
And it's funny, I actually never realized that, but I'd always kind of thought that as a kid with that character during the era. And then
Mm-hmm.
to read about that was the case, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm. And then Dan says, and there was the guy who reminded me of Raiden from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, we hadn't gotten to there yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
technically, all three storms, those
mm-hmm,
characters, Thunder, Rain, and Lightning,
mm-hmm,
all had a hand in inspiring Raiden, but particularly Lightning, who
yeah,
had the lightning and everything.
yeah.
And those
I thought,
three guys, even though they didn't have much speaking, I thought were really great too.
well, they did have their show, like their parade when they at the wedding or at some
Yeah,
sort of contest that the two girls had to pass. So they were able to exhibit their martial arts at at that point, and that was really nice to see.
well,
So
Carter Wong played Thunder. That was the guy who could make
mhm.
himself expand. He's actually, yeah, he was, in China, he is yes, he does. I agree there with the Dunedin. Um, he's actually, yeah, would train police in China.
Wow.
I also though like to think of him as Chinese Jean-Claude Van Damme in this film, though, because that's
Okay.
who he reminds
Fair
me
enough.
of. And then James Kwong played Rain, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's was in a lot of '80s stuff. I don't know necessarily if he's truly though how trained he is in martial arts, but
Mm-hmm.
the other gentleman who played Lightning, James
Mm-hmm.
Pax, is somebody that's trained in martial arts too.
Right.
Uh,
Well, you
the
notice
person
it.
everybody's like, it's Raiden. Yeah,
Yeah, you notice it when people do train from a young age in martial arts. So that was it was really well casted. I thought this movie was really well casted. I wouldn't
yeah,
say it was my favorite movie of all time, but I really enjoyed it. The comedy is, very PG-13 and nice. It's just goofy comedy.
yeah.
So here's an opinion. I think Kurt Russell is very underrated Hollywood actor, which is a shame.
Um,
I don't know.
I don't
You
know
think
if
so?
I would ever
R2?
feel like he's underrated. Um, I don't know.
I
I
feel
think
like there are other
everybody
people.
likes him.
Hmm, he likes him, but maybe he's not as popular as, for example, Johnny Depp or Russell Crowe. You know.
Sure.
So here, Gato says Kurt Russell was Wyatt Earp. Earp. I
Yeah.
hope I'm
In
not butchering.
Tombstone.
I don't want to be. I don't want to be like Dan and
Wyatt
butcher
Earp.
names. White Earp. Okay, in Tombstone,
Why?
my
No, no,
favorite.
no. Wyatt.
White.
Wyatt Earp.
Wyatt. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, and well, I mean, I think my favorite movie in Kurt Russell would be Stargate, because basically that's the only one that I've seen. It's not because I don't want to see it. It was never a coincidence that I found movies with Kurt Russell. I mean, I found other movies. It's not that I didn't want to watch them. It's just that I never really got the chance to do so. Um, so when I saw Kurt Russell in another aspect, I thought, wow, this is good.
Yeah, no, this is good.
Yeah.
There was a couple other background people too that I love though. Al
Uh huh.
Leong, who was the cleaver wielding Wing
Mm-hmm.
Kong.
Yeah.
He's a very well known bad guy and stuntman in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
He One of my favorite roles though is him in Die Hard. He plays one of the terrorists, and there's a moment where they're waiting for the police to come in, and he's behind a snack
Mm-hmm.
like bar or something, and he looks down and he
Yeah.
sees candy bars, and he like looks around and he grabs one and eats it while they're waiting for the cops to come in. Uh,
Yeah. Exactly. And then, well, obviously, It's not Mr. Miyagi. It's oh gosh, the grandpa.
Egg Shen,
Yes,
Victor Wong from Three
yes,
Ninjas.
Victor Wong. Yes. Oh my gosh,
Yep.
that man has such a special place in my heart because obviously
Yeah.
Three Ninjas and stuff like that. But you know, oh man, he did it
Just
again. He did it again in this movie. It was great.
his eccentricness is always great.
And I don't know if he's a refugee, but he definitely migrated from China.
No, he was born in San Francisco.
Oh, my bad.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah. Actually, I wondered that too, and I looked that up. But he, he's actually was born in San Francisco. Now that doesn't mean that he didn't go and spend time in China
no,
at
but
some
he
point.
does.
I
He
mean,
has an accent.
I mean, Bruce Lee was born in San Francisco and then went back to China and grew up.
Mhm.
You know, his
Mhm.
early years of his life.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that could very well be the case.
Yeah, because he does have an accent when he speaks English, and it's like,
Yeah.
there's something there. And I thought, well, he's probably migrated. I mean, and at a young age, but yeah, well, things you learn. But yeah, I mean, he just what I haven't seen him in so many movies, but he does have this special. You could say he has a special zing in his movies.
Yeah. Would Big Trouble in China be made today?
Ooh, remakes.
I don't.
This is a touchy topic. Thank you.
Well,
Sam.
I'll put it this way. I don't think it would be made today in the sense of I feel like people today would not be interested in it. And it certainly would not be the same film by any means if they did make it today.
You know, this is actually very, very touchy because the stereotype that Kurt Russell is portraying back in the day wasn't offensive.
Yeah.
And people now are so damn touchy. They're just so touchy and they take offense with absolutely everything. That if they made a remake, you would probably have people protesting or feminists going wild, as to this a man, trying to court or trying to, get on with a blonde girl. And obviously, even though you have your representation, because they're all Chinese and basically the white man is him, you still have a white guy, an American classic white guy saving the day.
Yeah.
And that today is a huge no-no. You cannot do that. So unfortunately, they would not be able to make this to do a remake of the movie. I would just leave it in its past glory and have new generations watch it, enjoy it, and learn not to get offended about everything. So
yeah,
basically that.
And then to JT's question, I have heard that that's been a rumor that they might remake it and The Rock being in it, but I don't think I've ever heard anything with that being official. So that I don't know.
The
Well,
movie's
there can
fun
be stuff
though.
stuff can be on IMDb, but even that can fall through. So I would say until there's a trailer for it. There's there's no guarantee they'll follow through with it. Yeah, until there's a trailer with scenes that they filmed with it.
Okay. You see, that's the thing, Sam. The movie is fun. The movie is good. It's not maybe a blockbuster. It's not like Lord of the Rings type. Like boom. But it's gonna be timeless.
They thought this movie was going to be big. I guess with all of the test screenings, everybody went nuts for it. But they didn't really know how to market it. 20th Century Fox and did very little. And because of that, unfortunately, it was a box office bomb, which is so surprising because I just know, I feel like I know so many people who watched it and love this film that.
Well, back in the day, also, I mean, in those days, there were a lot of movies that bombed, um, but uh, but nowadays they're just regarded so highly, and this is like one of them. And yeah, today people need CGI effects and soy scripts, and it's true. Unfortunately, it's true. And unfortunately, Hollywood, it's not a vast majority. I mean, it is a small minority of people who do that, who do need soy scripts and CGI effects. Well, we all like CGI effects, but um, the vast majority of people like us, we're like, well, we don't need that. You know, what we need is good stories and people who fit the script. Don't give me representation, give me the actors. You know, hire people who are needed, not hire people because of their sexual orientation or their color of their skin. You know, so hire them because they're good, because they fit the role, not because you have to have a quota. So
yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I love your mom. Thank you, Dan. I know. My mom's awesome. And yes, JT, Willow was one of them. And Labyrinth was another one. And we talked about this on previous podcasts. So yeah.
Yep.
It's like, hire me. Dan wants to be hired. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's it. I mean, CGI special effects in this movie. I mean, they're very, very basic, but we don't need a lot of stuff to get a good movie done. You know, you don't. And it's action packed to a certain extent because it's not like. It's not a Marvel movie. It's not a DC movie, which we would say, like action packed. But you do have your enough action to make it interesting and to get like to the point. These people are trying to save two women, who obviously one of them is very, very independent, and the other one comes from a culture that in which the woman submits, basically. So yeah. I think that's it. I'm gonna show. Well, go ahead while you talk.
I was gonna say Yeah. Oh, sure. Speaking of this movie and Willow, I thought it was funny that Kurt Russell kind of General Kale's a bad guy in this film with his knife.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
So these are just a few of the posters that I have never even seen, but you can check. And the dialogue. Oh, we didn't talk about the dialogue. Dialogue was so funny.
You know, I wrote down some of some of the quotes from there.
It was so I was just chuckling on my own.
I love this poster too.
That's the perfect portrayal of a man, who has no idea what he's doing, and yet, you know, and he still thinks he's like the savior. So
yeah. Well, I like the painted. It's got a little bit of like the Indiana Jones look to it.
Yeah. So let's see here. I'm gonna keep.
Sure.
You just give me the quotes. They are awesome.
Yeah. So one of my favorite is the part when they're going to go into the brothel, and Kim Cattrall's like, "I go with you," and then he's like, "I know, there's a problem with your face." Like, he just says it so straightforward. Like, it's such a messed up thing to say. And the fact that she doesn't though have like an offended reaction to it, I think is a bit funny. Yeah. I like the part after, so they break into the compound, and before they go to take on everybody, Egg Shen's like, "Hey, we're gonna drink this elixir," and they all drink it, and then they get into this elevator, and Jack's like, I feel pretty good. I'm not scared at all. I just feel kind of invincible. And she's like, yeah, me too. I feel real positive about this. And then suddenly, like, everybody's like nodding in agreement, and then Jack's like, is it getting hot in here? Is it just me? And he's like, would you stop rubbing your body against me? Against mine?
Yeah.
Can't concentrate when you're doing that.
That's just so, oh man. Raunchy.
And then that poster there, that's a fan made one. I thought that was really neat, and liked it a lot. There was a lot of fan made posters out there with them, but that one in particular.
Look at the pose. Look at the pose, man.
Yeah, it really kind of captured.
Really cool. This guy captured him
film.
right there. And then you have Victor Wong. Oh my gosh. May he rest in peace. Really.
Yeah.
And you got the three. I thought it was lightning, rain, and wind. I don't know why. And this character right here, this is another character. I have no idea what he is or what he does. He's basically just a monster.
So he is a demon.
Okay.
Is what that is. Okay. And in fact, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit with this back from where we normally do it, but they did do a continuation of the movies through comic books. Boom Studios did them. And I actually got to read like the first 2 or 3 issues of Big Trouble in Little China, and it kind of actually picks up from where the movie ends, where he discovers that the demon has hitched a ride onto a semi-truck, and it's kind of almost, if I don't know how many of you will be familiar with this, but it's actually a little bit becomes like Clint Eastwood's Every Which Way But Loose, where he's the guy who's got the pet orangutan, Clyde, who gets into a bunch of shenanigans with. That I think in my research, I found out they did 25 issues of this comic book series. And there's like 6 collections you can get that cover all of them. That was the cover of the first collection. And then they did one called Old Man Jack.
I'm gonna get that. I think that's the next one.
Yeah, that ran for, it looks like, from what I could tell, 12 issues. And then they did and in between that, they did actually a mini-series where Jack Burton and Snake Plissken, both played by Kurt Russell, team up, which is Big Trouble in Little China, Escape from New York.
Okay. I have to say, there it is, Old Man Jack. So I think I have to say with my favorite line would probably be, the I was born ready. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like, he has no idea. And that was just, that's what's brilliant about it, So there is
another
Jack. Go ahead.
Funny thing throughout this film are all the mentions of all the different hells. Let's see if anybody in the chat can tell us how many hells do they mention in that film.
Let's see. Chun, chun, chun. Well, I keep on showing our beautiful crowd.
Yeah. Okay, we got 7. We'll wait for a few people.
65.
65. Let's see if we can get 1 or 2 more answers in there.
Escape from New York. So this, we're getting
10.
into. We got 10.
6. Okay. So Sam was the closest. They mentioned 5.
Wow. Nice, Sam.
The hells that they mention are the hell of being cut into pieces, the hell of boiling oil, the hell of upside down sinners, the hell where people are skinned alive, and the hell of the oily dragon.
Oh gosh, that's horrible. That is hell.
Yeah.
And as a big Chinese fan, I think the worst thing you can get is Chinese torture because it's slow and extremely painful. Which is why.
You mean the water drip on the forehead?
Not only that, there are other things.
The bamboo.
And this is for Raiden. Oh yeah, Raiden. Just so you know that there are Pop Funko collectible items of Big
these
Trouble
came
in
out
Little
about
China.
5 years ago, and I was never aware of them. I think I totally would have bought them if I'd ever seen those.
Right.
But and as far as I can tell, they only made these 6 too. So it's kind of a bit of a bummer that they didn't do. There was no weighing, or they didn't do the monkey demon in there. Heck, even the what is it? That ball blob that flew around with all the eyeballs on it. That actually kind of would have been a neat Funko Pop figure, I feel like.
Wow. Anyway. So, and sorry, Gunter. No, you still said 7. So, I'm sorry. He was not ready. So yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, have this. It was brilliant idea. Probably.
Yeah.
They probably, sold out pretty quickly.
Yeah, they must have. I didn't try and look to track any down, but now I'm kind of curious to see if I can find any, because those are pretty cool.
So I still have a couple things to show, but this is the board game. This is a board game.
Yep. I have no idea how you play it, but I found out they had a board game. I'm kind of shocked. I feel like this movie would have gotten a pinball machine. I don't know why.
That would have been cool.
I could see it as yes, very cool, and even kind of surprised that there was never a video game for this. In a way, I feel like this would be neat to be like a almost like a Grand Theft Auto type game, or Red Dead Revolver, kind of open world, running around as Jack Burton and Wang would be, and that kind of fun. And
here's the guy that blows up, and this guy, I'm pretty sure that this guy does know. Who was this guy again? I'm pretty sure that this was the one. Yeah. Don't remember that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, or like I said, I like to call him. He's Chinese, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh yeah. Fine. And I just have one little thing to show, right here, and it is this one right here. There's the other one, and this is what I wanted to point out. I was going to talk about this afterwards. When he comes out with the lipstick, oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Dang, man! Oh man, that was so painful.
He's got it smeared all over his face. And then when he's got it on him, and then he goes up against Lo Pan with the lipstick smeared all over his face.
Yeah. So, and well, my mom says Chinese and the Japanese were the pinnacle of torture science. Their tortures were really gruesome. Yeah, and if you haven't seen Squid Game, I don't know if I could recommend it, but you can definitely get a glimpse of what they mean by Asian torture. That is a very, very gruesome series. So yeah, and he's smeared with it, and he comes out and he's all like, "Oh yeah, man." Nope. So have to say that the costume design for the Chinese was very, very beautiful. You know, the wedding dress of the girls, even though it was fairly simple because it was just like one type of fabric. It was very well done, and it was extremely beautiful. So, so much lipsticks.
The wedding ceremony scene where they come down the escalator with all the idols that are surrounded in neon. I always thought that looked so cool as a kid.
Yeah.
And but now all I can think of is, and if anybody's an Office fan, is that must mean that David Lopan must have a neon guy for all that neon that he has.
So, and Sam thought for a second, I thought KR was face tuned.
Kurt Russell's face was tuned.
Yeah. No, that was pretty much lipstick because they kind of made out in the elevator. So the elevator scene. Gosh. No, but the rubbing of the bodies was with the woman in the sewer. It wasn't in the elevator.
Oh, I thought for a second I thought it was in the elevator.
No. It was him hustling her.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Boom, you know, you cut it off, you know, and so yeah, but afterwards she falls for him. Ew.
Yeah, and then too at the end he doesn't kiss her goodbye too. She's like, her friend's like, aren't you gonna kiss her goodbye? He's like, no.
And she's like, well, can you get a nice little trailer for your truck? You know, just built for two. And he's like, oh yeah, well, I'll think about it.
She asked for a truck with a little apartment in the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the truck he does drive has a little apartment in the back, so he already had the truck.
Oh, and the movie, you know, that's what I love about old movies. It just winds up again, you know, and his truck and podcasting with his radio.
Yeah.
So, no, I think it was like overall thoughts. I think it was a very, very great movie. You know, probably not my favorite all time, but definitely worthwhile to watch. And you know, it's just a goofy laugh. You know, just to take off some steam and just enjoy good old movies. You know, the type where people didn't get offended by everything.
Yeah. Well, growing up with this, because of that, this is one of my favorite films. But if you didn't, I can understand, you know, you liking it, but maybe not being like, oh, this is one of the best things I've ever watched.
Well, I mean, we're all entitled to our own taste.
Yeah.
Because I'm more of a fantasy type of movie. So when I was a kid, I enjoyed more fantasy than these types of movies anyway. So I mean, that's fair enough. And then it's up there with Goonies, Gremlins, and Willow. That's what JT says. Okay, Goonies was a good book. Gremlins, you guys know how I feel about those little critters. And Willow, well, Willow is special. Definitely special. So, and far underrated for my taste. Well, nowadays people do think of it and think, oh wow, yeah, Willow was a good movie. So
yeah,
but Gremlins,
that's another one. I love that movie too. But yeah, I know how much you're not a fan.
No, yeah, I just don't like the little. Maybe I should give it a watch now. But it's like this kid phobia, you know, the fear that remains when you were a kid. And when I see this furry little things, you know, because they did re-release like the furries or the Furbies, I think they're called Furbies, in toy size. And all the girls like, oh my gosh, it's a Furby. And I'm like, don't you dare give it anything after 12. You know? So
Yeah.
like,
Well, I was gonna. I have a little bit of a funny Gremlins story. Like 2 years
Okay.
ago, we showed the kid out Gremlins for the first time,
Uh-huh.
and he's like, "This is cool." And he was like, "Can we watch it again?" We're like, "Watch what again?" He's like, "You know that movie, The Germans?" We're like, "You mean Gremlins?" He's like, "Yeah, that one, Gremlins."
Oops.
Who
I
you want to
think the
watch?
slimy
The
thing.
Germans.
I know Dan loves it because they're all slimy.
Well, when they get like wet and then when they're dying, they get all slimy.
Ew.
Like at the like the end of the first one, I forget how do they kill Spike? Don't they like electrocute him while he's in the fountain and he comes out? He kind of is like he's like
I
melting
don't
into
know.
snot.
Ew. That's just gross. But yeah. Anyway. So Ghostbusters. Let's see.
Who you
It
gonna
was
call?
camping. Who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters, definitely. And we have a special Ghostbusters after the weekend edition.
Yes, and we are going to have 3 guests on that show.
We're gonna have 3 guests there. 3. It's gonna be so amazing. We're gonna be 5 people. I am gonna be the only woman, and I'm gonna be hosting the show on my channel, which is awesome. Kudos to me. So,
Yeah, I'm
Avery
excited
says
for it. I can't wait to watch it.
Sunlight.
Oh, Sunlight.
Sunlight.
Yeah, that's not coming.
Yeah. That sounds, yeah. And Sam Mathai says those gremlin characters were so freaky as a kid. I couldn't process. Need to rewatch. You see, I had the same feeling, except that I didn't process. I went through it and it was painful. So, and Avery
Yeah,
says it was
the moment from Gremlins that creeps me out even to this day is the classroom scene where they've got the one that cocoons itself inside the cage, and he's like, you know, it hatches and it's under the desk and it eats the guy's arm and kills him. Yeah, the tension of that scene. Well, I watched that and I'm like, for the fact of like it's in a cocoon that looks like the egg sac from Alien, and the guy's like not worried and like, here, I'm gonna stick my hand under my desk with a candy bar to try and entice it.
And we have a few. Let's see here. So, yes, Sam is looking forward to the Ghostbusters show. Yep, definitely looking forward. The last trailer that came out is good. I'm getting good vibes. I'm getting good rates. They have seen it. A few critics, they say it's horrible, which for me is the opposite. Say it's okay. This is going to be a good movie. JT says, "How about Legend? Anyone? Haven't seen it.
I haven't seen Legend. I'm shocked you have not seen that. I have not seen that movie in like a long time. Well, and for loving fantasy, that's kind of a big fantasy film.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
as for Ghostbusters, there was a handful of people that got to see it in Vegas that, like an early screening and all said, they loved it, thought it was great. But it seems like the critics that are poo-pooing it are the ones that are like, well, it has no connection to the lady one. So
as if we care.
they're all reading
Anyway,
about that.
so Phil is here. Phil, thank you so much for the virtual
Hey,
hug.
Phil.
And that reminds me of the Emperor from Star Wars. Yeah, sure. And I don't know if everybody and TD's in the house. Oh, TD, thank you
TD.
so much.
Thanks
We
for
were
being
just
here.
winding down. We're gonna go into the final thoughts of the podcast or the live stream or whatever you want to call it. Thank you so much for the tweets today. Twitter, as I said at the beginning,
thank you so much.
It just burst, like the notifications were just bursting, and that was like so like, oh my gosh, I'm really, really blessed and really happy to have found all these people and to actually, to make real good friends. I'm very, very blessed. So I was gonna say, if I don't know if anybody knows who we're going to be inviting. If you guys wanted to keep it a secret, we can do that, or we can just name them now, and we don't have to wait until the 22nd of November.
Well, two of them are in the chat.
Two of them are in the chat. Oh my gosh, been lurking. Another amazing scream. Okay. I'm just wondering if they would like to expose themselves to share with us who's going to be our two of our guests.
In the words of Peter Venkman, you don't want us exposing ourselves.
Well, people do die of overexposure. That's a good artist comeback, because a lot of people tell artists, well, you can give this for free. And then you're exposing yourself, you're exposing yourself. And we say, well, people do die of overexposure. Saying, pay up.
Or do we tell them the person who isn't here, do we name them? And then they're like, well, who in the chat was it?
Well, we don't know, because, TD says, it's me, Nat. Dreaming Tabitha is saying, keep it a cliffhanger. Gato says, do it. My mom says, keep it a mystery. Sam says, let's guess. Avery, it's not me. And Dan says, go for it. So what do we do?
I think we say the person who isn't here. We'll give that hint.
Okay, the person who isn't here. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Because we have a lot of people.
We do.
Do it. Do it.
Who's going to say it?
Okay, mystery it is. Oh, why are you now so succumb to my mom, Dan? I know now you want to keep it a secret? Oh, fine. Well, I guess I'm going to
keep it a secret.
Let's keep it a secret. I will be posting then as a poster. That'd be good.
Well, I guess we should at least tell them the day of it, right?
Yes.
Because it is going to be Saturday, November 20th.
That's the Ghostbusters release? No.
The release is, depending on where you are in the world, it's either the 18th or the 19th.
Yes. And we are going to do it. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, we didn't want to wait too long to review it. We wanted to review it quickly. So
and
everybody could at least
on
see.
Monday.
Yeah. Oh, wait, we're going to do it on a Monday? I thought we were doing it on a Saturday.
I don't know. I thought we were going to do it on a Monday, as always.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a special. I thought it was a special episode. We were going to do it on Saturday as soon as possible. Well, everybody sees clearly we're not on the same page.
It's so sad.
Well, we can do it on a Monday. That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, it is. Well, I mean, you guys. I'm laughing, and it's great. After political news, this conversation is so refreshing. Yes, after political news, movies are always refreshing, unless they're soy script. But yeah. Tell us. Sorry, Gato. You are going to have to wait. Okay. Yes. Dan says it's on the 19th. It's just that I don't think I will be able to get it on the 19th and on the 20th. That's my problem.
I got you.
No. Where I live, unfortunately, I have to wait a couple days before I can actually get the movie and then watch it. Unless you guys watch it, are able to watch it, and then I will just host and take off my headsets and just watch it.
I was gonna say I could live stream it to you while I watch it in the movie theater.
No! You want to kill it for me? Heck no. It's just like Dune. Oh gosh, Dune is getting such good reviews, and I think this is going to be the last topic for the night. But R2, you have stolen some of my Coke. Sorry about that.
Yes, I apologize for my sniffles.
And yeah, I'll probably be crocheting while people talk, unfortunately. And yes, and by the way, you can see it here. Huh? So he's getting there. He's getting there. Just I just stiffened his arms, his fingers. He is now ready to hold his blade. But anyway, so yes, Dune is one of the things that I am very eager to see as well. We'll be getting good reviews, good critics. So I now have access to Dune because since it was released live stream, I can get it the Jack Sparrow way. So, yep.
On the high seas.
Yeah, Mom. Yes, Dune is out. I can get it for you. I will be visiting you in a couple days, so we can watch it together if you want, and then we can do a review on that on Wednesday. How about that? So, Gato, Dune is good. Have you seen it, Gato? I finished the old Dune so that I can watch the new Dune. Yeah, that's good. The old Dune. Now, that's another thing I think we should. Oh, God, there's so much that we can talk about, but I think that I really enjoyed the old Dune. I mean, I've heard critics, I've heard streamers that say that they didn't like Dune. As a person who has read Dune several times and is a direct descendant from another person who enjoys and loves Dune to the bottom of her heart, I think that the old Dune was pretty well done with Sting. And that's to overcome that. I mean, it could have been better, but it's not bad. I really enjoy it every time. So
I watched the original one for the first time like 2 months ago, and sadly I could not get into it. But I feel like it's kind of more of the fact that probably if I had saw it earlier in life, it would have probably been better. So it wasn't awful, but I guess what I didn't like is just I felt overwhelmed watching it. I felt like there was so much going on. I couldn't follow what was going. Yeah, like they crammed so much into that movie.
I guess you have to read the book to really get into the lore of the story and really enjoy the movie per se. Because yes, it was really well adapted, the 1980 something movie. I think it was a good one. And this one here, well, I did get good vibes, except when I saw Zendaya. I never know how to pronounce her name.
Zendaya.
Zendaya, whatever. Now I can. That one I do not mind butchering her name. Zendaya, whatever. So I think, man, she's not played for the part. I see her and it's like, gosh, why do you have to meddle in something else? Why do you have to put your nose in it? Apart from that, I think the cast was pretty good. I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna enjoy watching it. But Zendaya. Okay, thank you, Phil. It's not a name that I'm really eager to learn anyway.
You could just call her non-Mary Jane, Mary Jane.
No, for example, she did really well in The Greatest Showman. I enjoyed her character in that film, but I didn't really enjoy Mary Jane because she's not Mary Jane. Mary Jane is completely different, and she gave us something else. As in, when I first saw the trailer for The Homecoming, I thought, who's this chick? And then they said it was Mary Jane. I'm like, what? Where? From who?
You were like, universe? Who's this Zendaya?
Yeah. Whatever. Anyway, so, well, we got to wind it down now because it is now 9:15 and we like to keep things, on the dot. And poor R2 is coping with us because the chat is so overwhelming. Thank you so much, guys. We have 15 people watching us. This is a breakthrough.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Really, really appreciate all the support you give us. Me, Unlocking Laura, the Creepy Crochet, which I will be changing in a couple days, and always my good friend R2theICKY, who right now has a sniffles,
Thank you.
unfortunately. So.
Yep.
So.
Hopefully next time I will be back on camera and not sniffling so bad. I feel.
Yeah.
I apologize for this.
That's fine. That's okay. I yelled, "What?" with that real, with that. Okay, this is funny. No. But as well, I like Zendaya better than the figure of Tobey Maguire version Spider-Man Mary Jane. Well, fine. Okay, I can give you that. Definitely. But she's still meddling her nose into movies that she is not supposed to be in. Period. You know, give me something fresh. She's not fresh anymore. So no idea. Well, yes, thank you so much. Another amazing
Thank you, everybody.
Go watch Big Trouble in Little China if you can.
Yes.
Tabitha, you were probably the only one on this stream that hasn't watched it. I encourage you to watch it. It's a fun movie. Final thoughts is I had fun. Not the greatest of the movies, but I definitely have fun, and I would enjoy watching it again. I have no problem. So
I love it. It's one of my favorite movies, and for those of you who haven't watched it, you need to go watch it. And those of you that have seen it, you should go watch it again because it's awesome.
Yeah. And so keep your money, Tabitha. I have no clue what her last name is. And don't you dare start trending that. Maria's MJ. Forget it. I'm not redhead. MJ is redhead, definitely. So, everybody, thank you so much. I will see you guys on Wednesday if you guys have the time. I will be streaming with my mom with a movie that we do not know as yet. And on Thursday, as always, Unlocking Lore, I'm going to be presenting The Warlock for the first time, a premiere of a new story. And I'm wearing a red sweater. Yes.
And what is our next movie that we'll review, Maria?
Oh, I was going to ask you that behind the scenes, because we do have. I want to make it a surprise. Because I don't even know. I'll make it
no problem.
But we did have something special, but we had to change it. So anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you all. Good night, everybody.
Be bold, but not too bold. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Bye.